I worked 17 years to own my condo. My sister walked in and said, "Mom and Dad agreed, you can move out." Weeks later, police cuffed her outside my door. 10 days after I had paid off my apartment, my sister arrived up and stated that our parents had consented to allow her family move in. She expected me to go and find another place. I'm 34, unmarried, no kids, and I work in IT. My parents reside 25 minutes away in the same suburb where we grew up. My sister Lauren is 30, married to Ethan, has an 18-month-old baby. She was always the one teachers adored, the one neighbors complimented. I was the one mowing lawns in summer while Lauren got to focus on academics. My parents didn't mean to pick favorites, but if something broke, it was somehow my responsibility. If Lauren needed aid, the whole family moved mountains. I had just finished paying off my condo 3 months earlier, a 2-bedroom property in Chicago. Nothing special, but it was mine. Every inch of it has a tail. The used fridge that grumbled every time it kicked on. The inexpensive dining table I'd constructed improperly, so it wobbled if you leaned on it. The closet I transformed into a modest office because I couldn't afford a bigger home with a genuine one. For years this apartment was the finish line I limped toward. I missed holidays, drove a car old enough to vote, learned to fix leaking sinks from YouTube instead of contacting plumbers. My pals went to bars on weekends. I performed DoorDash after work for additional income. And when the bank received the letter declaring mortgage paid in full, I placed it on my fridge with a silly magnet shaped like a cow. It seemed like the biggest triumph of my life. So, when my sister Lauren appeared up out of nowhere that Tuesday afternoon, I assumed maybe she came to congratulate me. She doesn't normally visit alone. Most times, if she's in the neighborhood, she drags our parents or her husband Ethan with her. But this time, there was just her standing at my doorway carrying a huge iced coffee, looking like she owned the house already. "Hey," I murmured, stepping back. She strolled in without speaking, gaze roving over everything like she was evaluating a place for rent. She peered into the second bedroom, the bathroom, even my little office closet. She halted in the kitchen, hands on her hips. "This place is bigger than I remember," she replied finally. Thanks." She nodded like she'd verified something in her brain. Then she turned around and stared right at me. So, she began like we were in the middle of some continuing discussion. "We've agreed this place should belong to the family now." I blinked at her. "Excuse me, a family place," she said again, slower this time, like I was missing the point. "It's ludicrous for you to have all this room to yourself when Ethan and I have a baby and rent is unattainable. We'll be moving in. You can locate somewhere else." She stated it nonchalantly, like announcing the weather. I laughed because what else do you do when someone says something insane? But Lauren didn't laugh back. She crossed her arms and arched her eyebrows like I was the one acting crazy. "Wait, are you serious?" I asked. "Of course," she said. "Mom and Dad agree. It's the finest option for everyone. It's not like you need all this space, it's only you." I gazed around my little condo, as if she had discovered a hidden ballroom that I was unaware of. "You are kidding, right? You don't just decide to move into my house." Lauren rolled her eyes. "Don't be theatrical. It is presently a family house. You will understand after you have children." That bit made me laugh more. "Lauren, this is not a family house. I purchased it. I paid for it. It is my." She waved her hand as if this were a small thing. "Yes, but come on. It's not fair of you to keep it when we need additional space. You can obtain a tiny apartment. You do not even utilize the second bedroom." I just stood there. I'd heard some crazy stories from my family before, but this was a new level. I inquired whether you had previously spoken with your mother and father. "Of course," she said as if it were clear. "They think that makes complete sense. Do they think I'll just hand up my keys and start packing?" Lauren sighed as if I were being ridiculous. "Look, we are not trying to fight. It's just what's best for everyone." Ethan's hours were slashed. Daycare prices continue to rise, and you're sitting here with 2 bedrooms and no children. Don't you think it's a bit selfish? I blinked at her. Selfish. Because I worked extra hours and skipped dinners so I could have a secure place to live, and now I'm selfish for not sharing it. Lauren took her coffee off the counter as if the conversation was over. "We will need to move in within 6 weeks. Gives you time to find somewhere." Before I could speak, she was already walking for the door. "Lauren," I replied, finally catching up with what had transpired. "You are not moving in here." She halted with her hand on the doorknob and flashed me this smile. "People say this when they believe you will ultimately change your mind." "We've already talked to Mom and Dad," she said. Then she departed. I stood in the center of my living room, looking at the door after it had closed. The refrigerator kicked on behind me, eliciting the customary grumble. I looked over at the mortgage letter which was still hanging there with the cow magnet. I briefly wondered whether I had dreamt everything, but Lauren seemed dead serious. Apparently, so were my parents. I wasn't upset yet. I simply felt off balance, like if the floor had shifted slightly and I was waiting to see if it would continue. After Lauren departed, I remained there for a while, gazing at the door as if it might open again. It did not. I sat down, opened my laptop, and tried to concentrate on work, but my thoughts kept returning to what she said. Family asset. As if she and Ethan had the authority to make that decision for me. I decided if I was going to relate the entire narrative, I should explain how we got here, because this did not begin yesterday. I've been working since I was 17. My first job was bussing tables in a dirty cafe near our high school. If clients felt generous, they might tip over the minimum wage. Most did not. After that, there were summer shifts at the hardware shop. After that, I worked part-time at the university library while in college. By the time I graduated, I had developed a practice of accepting any extra hours I could obtain. I lived cheaply for a long time. Studio apartment with a view of a brick wall and stuff from Craigslist. Meanwhile, Lauren was living a very other life. She's 4.5 years younger. My parents paid for her cheer camp, driving lessons and prom outfit while telling me they were short on money when I needed new brakes on my car. Lauren was the golden kid. Teachers adored her. Neighbors adored her. When she forgot homework, my parents explained that she was simply sleepy. When I received a B instead of an A, they questioned why I hadn't studied more. It wasn't like she was malicious or anything. She was simply used to things going her way. When I was in college, she enrolled in a private university with a price tag that made my stomach turn. Her parents co-signed her debts without blinking. I was attending a public school with scholarships and part-time employment. She studied communication and uploaded photos from tailgating parties, spring getaways, and chic coffee shops. I spent evenings in the library trying to finish work before my 5:30 a.m. deadline. Shift unloading trucks at the warehouse. When I bought the condo 6 years ago, it was the most affordable quality 2-bedroom I could find in an area that wasn't going apart. Peeling paint, old appliances and squeaky floorboards were all in need of repair. But it was mine. I recall signing the paperwork, with hands that wouldn't stop shaking because I was afraid I'd mess it up somehow. Lauren stopped by once and strolled around the premises, wrinkling her nose. "It's cozy," she added, using a nice way of describing tiny. "It's what I can afford," I informed her. She grinned as if she were amusing me. "I mean, I could never live somewhere like this, but good on you." That stayed with me. I worked extra shifts on weekends maintaining other people's laptops, lived on instant noodles and delayed purchasing quality clothes for years in order to own a property, while my sister treated it like some starter apartment she was too good for. Fast forward, she marries Ethan. He's okay. Quiet dude. Teaches middle school science. We were always nice to each other, but we seldom chatted much. They rented a decent 2-bedroom plus den apartment not far from here. Newer building with a gym and a functional rooftop deck. Much better than my condo. They welcomed a baby 18 months ago. Cute youngster. I gave presents, paid visits, and did my best to be a nice uncle. Then childcare costs began to hammer them. Ethan's hours were slashed. Lauren resigned her part-time marketing job to remain at home. Money issues began to creep into talks. There were few discussions about bills and rent during the months when money was tight. I assumed they'd shrink as normal people do when costs spiral out of control. Instead, Lauren comes up at my door saying that my condo is now family property just because we share DNA. I wasn't shocked that my folks supported her. The difference today is that this isn't just another family item that everyone may borrow. It's the one thing I worked so hard for. Lauren now believes she can waltz and claim it. And as usual, her parents will support her. But, here's the deal. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not living in their house, eating their food or using their car. I pay my bills. I keep my house in good condition. I finally got something firm under my feet. And, to be honest, hearing Lauren call it selfish for me to keep the property I paid for sparked an emotion in my chest that I had never felt before. Sure, I was angry, but I also had stubbornness that I had never idea I possessed. Because this time, it isn't about sharing toys or getting rides to school. It is my home. And I will not give it up. The call began the morning after Lauren arrived at my house. "First, Mom, sweetheart. I heard you were a bit uptight yesterday," she continued in that voice you hear when someone is going to scold you but pretends not to be. "Tense?" I asked. Lauren informed us what had occurred. You have to view things from her perspective. They've got a baby. Renting is currently impossible. Mom. She arrived up and stated that she was moving into my house as if it was already decided. Nobody asked me anything. She presumably anticipated you'd help out. Families benefit one another. That is what we do. I told her I wouldn't agree to anything. And she sighed, as if I had just admitted to being a villain in a movie. "You don't even use the second bedroom," she explained. "And it simply sits there while they fight. That doesn't seem fair." I informed her again that it was not going to happen. She said we'd discuss more over dinner on Sunday. I had no idea there was a supper on Sunday. By lunchtime, my phone was vibrating again. This time my father delivered the same message but with a displeased tone, as if I had breached some family taboo. He said things like, "Step up," and "bigger picture." I told him that I wasn't the one asking someone else to give up their house. He advised me not to be too theatrical. Then I got a text from an aunt I hadn't seen in over a year. "Honey, they simply need a break. You can find another location later. For example, some people store spare condominiums in their back pockets. Lauren texted a lengthy message later that evening, explaining that this was just temporary and for the sake of the family. She attached a chart Ethan created that showed how much money they had saved by moving in with me. It had a rent of $100, utilities reduced by around 40%, and no HOA or repair fees stated. As if the place kept itself out of benevolence. I did not react. Instead, I visited the complex's public website. They display the regular lease terms. Early termination costs 4 months' rent. My eyebrows rose. So it wasn't simply about wanting extra room. It was about avoiding a bill. A few hours later, I contacted Tyler, a front desk employee at a nearby real estate company. I asked him standard inquiries regarding rental applications, recent denials and such. He claimed there had been a lot. High debt, missing payments, and plummeting credit ratings. He didn't identify anyone directly, but I began connecting the connections on my own. I didn't tell either my mother or father. No point yet. Friday afternoon, another call. Mom again. We're having a family supper on Sunday, she remarked. Everyone will be present. We can discuss this calmly. Is everything all calm now? I knew how those dinners went. A table full of relatives nods in agreement when someone tells you you're being ridiculous. Voices remain courteous until you give in. It resembles an intervention, but with lasagna. Still, I responded. All right, I'll go. Lauren texted again on Saturday evening. We must get out of here within 6 weeks. Don't make this any difficult than it needs to be. Who is it harder for? I wondered. I didn't respond. Sunday arrived. I headed over to my folks' apartment after lunch. Their residence is the same as our childhood home. The same crumbling wallpaper in the hallway. The same couch, which dips in the center since Dad refuses to replace it. When I stepped in, the scent of garlic bread struck me immediately. The table was already set. Lauren and Ethan sat on one side, like a panel waiting to question me. My parents remained in the kitchen. Hello? I said. Lauren smiled as though nothing was wrong. Hey, we are just about to dine. I understood what the strategy was from the moment I sat down at that table. Lauren was wearing the false pleasant grin she employed when she was going to make a major request. Ethan seemed to want to be somewhere else. Mom and Dad continued giving each other subtle nods, as if they had a script ready. Lauren began first. We only need the condo for 14 months, she replied softly, as if she was doing me a favor by providing a schedule. 14 months? I asked. Well, maybe less, she responded hurriedly. Depends how soon we get back on our feet. I did not react. She thrust the packet of papers toward me again. Ethan and I put up a strategy, budget, time frame, everything. Ethan cleared his throat. It's really structured. We'd cover utilities. Obviously we just wouldn't be paying rent since you already own the house. Utilities? I inquired, glancing over the pages. That's it. Lauren nodded like that was generous. Mom leaned in. Honey, it's transitory. Think of the baby. She needs her own room. I looked at Lauren. You rent a 2+ den now. It's too pricey, she stated frankly. So, get a smaller place. She didn't like that. Her mouth constricted. Why should we uproot everything when you have room lying there unused? I gazed at her. Because it's my home. Dad groaned, laying down his fork like he was going to offer knowledge from a mountain. This is about family working together. You've got the room. They've got the need. It's common sense. I gestured to the papers in front of me. You worded this like I already agreed. Did anyone consider to really ask me first? Silence. Lauren eventually remarked, we figured you'd be reasonable once you saw the numbers. I switched to the so-called budget page. No HOA fees indicated. No repairs. Utilities cut down like power bills run on feelings. Rent 100. I slid the folder back toward her. Not happening. Her smile cracked. Why not? You do not even utilize the second bedroom. That doesn't matter. It's simply sitting there while we're drowning in debts, she remarked, voice rising a little. And you've got excess room you don't need. It's selfish. There it was again. Selfish. Like the years I spent working extra shifts, eating instant noodles, saying no to holidays so I could pay this property off didn't count. I slumped back in my chair. I glanced at your lease, I said. Lauren froze. What? It's public, I said. 4 months rent if you break it early, right? That's what this is actually about. Ethan moved uneasily. Lauren's face grew crimson. And that's none of your business, she snapped. You're making it my business, I said, keeping my voice even. You want to move into my home to avoid paying penalties on yours. Be honest about it. Mom frowned. Is this true? Lauren glared at me like I'd betrayed her. We just need a fresh start. Why are you making this so hard? Because you showed up and announced you were moving in like I had no say, I said. Like my years of work don't matter because you want an easy out. Ethan finally spoke. Look, we're just trying to find a solution that works for everyone. For everyone or for you two? I asked. He didn't answer. Lauren looked at Mom, desperate. Tell him this makes sense. You know it does. Mom hesitated, then said, Honey, they do have the baby to think about. I cut her off. Then maybe they should have planned better instead of showing up here with fake budgets and expecting me to hand over my keys. Lauren slammed her hand on the table. We are family. Families benefit one another. Family also respects each other, I said. You don't get to decide my home isn't mine anymore because you made bad financial choices. Dad finally spoke up. All right, let's calm down. No, I said, standing. You all sat here ready to guilt trip me like I'm the bad guy for not giving up the one thing I've worked for. I'm not doing it. Lauren's voice shook now. So, you'd rather see us homeless than help? You rent a 2+ den apartment, I said. Sell the furniture, break the lease, move to a cheaper place. People do it all the time. But you're not moving in here. Mom looked stunned. You don't mean that. I do, I said. This isn't a debate anymore. Lauren's face grew crimson. Ethan stared at the table like the wood grain was fascinating. I grabbed my jacket. Thanks for dinner, I said, heading for the door. Good luck with the lease. Nobody stopped me. As I left, I heard Lauren mutter something to Mom about me being cold-hearted. I didn't even look back. And after dinner, the family chorus kicked in. Lauren with, we can still work this out. Mom with family comes first. Dad's bigger picture. Even an uncle I haven't seen in a year weighing in with she has a baby. You don't. I stopped replying. I wasn't changing my mind. 10 days passed. One night after work, I got home and noticed something by the door. Fine scratches near the lock. A scuff mark low on the wood like someone kicked it lightly. I ran my finger over the scratches. Could be nothing, sure. But I've lived here 6 years. I know every dent and squeak in this place. That wasn't there before. My stomach felt heavy. I went inside, locked the door, and sat down at my laptop. I filled out the city's online non-emergency report form. Just the basics. Possible tampering. No entry. No suspects. I hit submit. Got the confirmation email. Closed the laptop. Next day, I swapped in a drill-resistant deadbolt and added 3 cameras, a door viewer facing the hallway and a small motion-activated cam inside covering the entry. Both recorded in high definition and sent alerts to my phone. Didn't cost much. Worth every penny if I was right about who was creeping around. For 3 nights, nothing happened. The cameras stayed quiet. Still, I kept checking the feeds before bed. Volume up on my phone in case alerts came through. 4th night, it happened. 2:49 a.m. Buzzing phone on the nightstand woke me up. Motion detected at your door. I grabbed the phone, opened the app. The grainy black and white feed showed someone standing at my door. Lauren, hoodie up, hair sticking out the sides, shoulders hunched. She had something shiny in her hand, moving it around the lock. I felt my chest go tight. I hit record on the app, swung my legs out of bed, and dialed 911. Whispered to the dispatcher. Someone's trying to break into my condo. I have video. Gave the address. Stayed on the line. Lauren kept working the lock like she'd done it before. Like she knew I wasn't home. The building's hallway lights kicked on. Automatic timer. She froze for half a second, looked over her shoulder, then went back to jiggling the lock. The dispatcher said units were close, told me to stay put. I watched through the phone screen, heart hammering. A minute later, 2 cops came into view on the hallway camera, walking fast. Lauren didn't see them until they were almost on top of her. I stayed behind the door until the officers came down the hall. When they told her to step back, I opened up and showed them the live feed with the tool at the lock. The cops asked for ID. She stammered, said something about forgetting her keys. I showed them the app recording, her with the screwdriver clear as day. They detained her right there in the hallway, cuffed, red wrists, the whole thing. I wasn't smug. I wasn't even angry in that moment. Just tired, shaky, like my body hadn't caught up with my brain yet. They asked if I wanted to press charges. I said yes. One cop stayed to take my statement while the other walked Lauren down the hall. 5 minutes later, Ethan showed up, hair messy, sweatpants, looking like he sprinted over. What's going on? He asked, voice cracking. She tried to break in, I said flatly. Ethan looked at the cop, then at me. It's a misunderstanding. She had a spare from before. I cut him off. I never gave her a spare. She thought she still had one, he said weakly. She didn't, I said. Ethan rubbed his face. Didn't argue after that. Just mumbled something about calling a lawyer and followed the cops out. I locked the door behind them, double-checked the deadbolt, sat on the couch staring at nothing for a long time. The cameras kept recording until the hallway went quiet again. The morning after Lauren got arrested, I called off work for a couple hours. I wanted everything documented before people started calling me names again. First, I stopped at the police station. I turned over the video files. They said they'd pull the 911 audio from dispatch. One of the officers gave me a case number and said the video made things pretty straightforward. They'd filed the report, forward it to the prosecutor, and I'd get updates later. When I got home, I made 3 copies of everything, one on a thumb drive, one in a locked folder in my cloud account. I printed out the incident report and stuck it in a folder with my mortgage papers. Then I emailed my boss, saying I'd be a bit late to work because of a personal security incident. That was all I said. He wrote back, "Handle what you need to. Thanks for letting me know." I left it at that. By noon my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Mom first. "How could you do this to your sister?" she asked, voice sharp. "She tried to break into my condo nearly 3 a.m. I said, "I didn't do this." "She did." "You didn't have to call the police," Mom said, like there had been some better option. "She had a screwdriver in my lock," I said. "What did you want me to do? Open the door and offer her coffee?" "Family should handle things privately," Mom said. "Does privately mean pretending it didn't happen?" I asked. She didn't answer that one. A couple hours later, Dad called. Same tone, different words. "She has a baby," he said. "She made a mistake. Don't ruin her life over this." "She made her own choices," I said. "I was asleep in my own home. I'm not apologizing for protecting it." He muttered something about me being cold. I hung up before saying something I'd regret. By evening my aunt texted, "She didn't mean it. Just drop the charges." I ignored it. 2 days later a neighbor mentioned an old fraud case. Court records showed a deferred sentence and probation from years back. The new arrest didn't violate active probation, but it did mean a new conviction on top of a prior case. I looked it up later. Court records are public if you know where to look. Sure enough, Lauren had a small fraud charge from 6 years ago. Deferred sentence, probation, fine paid. Nothing major, but it was there. I didn't post about it anywhere. Didn't tell cousins. Didn't go on some big rant online. I answered the prosecutor's questions, emailed the footage when they asked for it, and kept everything boring and professional. Lauren's case moved fast. They booked her on misdemeanor charges related to the break-in attempt, and the prior case didn't help. She pleaded guilty to avoid a bigger mess. The judge gave her a short 90-day sentence and a criminal record that wouldn't go away this time. Ethan texted me while she was inside. Long paragraph about how they'd been under stress. Daycare costs, medical bills, rent too high, life coming at them too fast. He said Lauren was just trying to do what parents do. Keep a roof over their kid's head. I read it twice, saved it, didn't respond. Their money situation tanked hard after that. They were still in a fixed-term lease. When they broke it, the 4-month penalty hit. After that, they grabbed a short month-to-month elsewhere, and the rate jumped. With Lauren not working, and now with a record, Ethan was carrying the whole thing on a teacher's salary. 4 months later, Lauren was out. I heard from Mom they'd moved in with her and Dad for a while. "That's between you and them," I said. "Not my business anymore." Mom didn't like that answer. She said the house was tense. Lauren and Ethan argued about bills. Dad hated the noise. Mom tried to keep the peace. I stayed out of it. A month later I saw Dad in person. He stopped by my condo to drop off some mail that had gone to their address. He looked tired. "Your sister's having a rough time," he said. "Finally. She made her choices," I said. "She says you hate her now." "I don't hate her," I said. "But I'm done being the person everyone leans on while calling me selfish." He didn't argue, didn't defend her, just nodded slowly, handed me the mail, and left. That was the last real conversation we had about it. Life went back to normal for me faster than I expected. I kept my routine the same. Work in the mornings, gym in the evenings, fixed the sticky window in my living room one Saturday, finally painted the patchy wall in the hallway with cheap rollers and way too much blue tape. Little things I'd been meaning to do for years. Later, I heard through my mom that Lauren wanted to clear the air. My first thought was she wanted to yell at me. My second thought was she probably wanted something again. I didn't reach out. Instead, I mailed them a single thing. A framed photo of my front door with the new lock installed. Under it, a short note. "Hope you find a place that's yours for real. No swearing, no insults, just clear." 2 weeks later, Mom called. "Lauren wants to talk," she said carefully, like I was a wild animal she didn't want to spook. "About what?" "About. She wants to apologize," Mom said. "Does this apology come before or after she asks for something?" I asked. Silence on the line. "I'll meet her," I said finally. "But here's the deal. My home is off the table. Nobody shows up uninvited. If she can't agree to that, I'm not coming." Mom agreed. The meetup was set for Saturday at their house. "Neutral ground," Mom said. Lauren was already there when I arrived, sitting at the kitchen table, arms crossed, chin up. Ethan sat next to her, looking like he wanted to disappear into his chair. I sat across from them. "All right," I said. "You wanted to talk. Go ahead." Lauren didn't waste time. "You didn't have to call the cops," she started, voice sharp. Family doesn't do that to each other. I gazed at her. You tried to break into my home. I was desperate, she said, like that made it fine. You wouldn't listen. You left us no choice. There was a choice, I said. You could have found another apartment like normal people. She waved a hand. Do you know how hard it is with a baby? With bills? We needed help. You wanted a free house, I said flatly. We deserved help, she snapped. You don't have kids. You don't understand what it's like. All that space going to waste while we were drowning. I felt my jaw tighten. Space I worked for. Space I paid for while you were calling it small and laughing at it 6 years ago. Lauren rolled her eyes. Oh, come on. That was different. No, I said, keeping my voice even. You treated this place like it was nothing until you needed it. Then you decided it was yours. Not asked. Decided. You could have just let us stay a few months, she shot back. But no, you had to make it this big thing, pressing charges. Really? You ruined my record. You ruined your record, I said. You picked up that screwdriver. You showed up at 2:49 in the morning. Not me. Lauren leaned forward, eyes sharp. You think you're better than us because you have a condo and no responsibilities? You think working a few extra hours makes you some kind of hero? I laughed once, short and dry. No, I think it makes me the person who owns the place you tried to steal. Her face went red. We just needed a break. And I needed boundaries, I said. Now I have them. She opened her mouth, but I kept going. You showed up uninvited. You ignored every no I gave you. You tried to break in, and now you're mad at me because there were consequences. Ethan finally spoke, voice low. She just means it didn't have to go this far. It went as far as she pushed it, I said. I'm not carrying that for her. Lauren glared at me, fists tight on the table. One day, you'll need help. Don't expect us to be there. I stood up. Good. That way we're all clear. She blinked like she didn't expect that answer. I hope you figure things out, I said. But my home is off limits forever. No debates. No surprises. We're done here. I walked out before she could fire back. Weeks passed after that. Mom tried a couple more times to get everyone together for a family dinner. I told her the same thing each time. If my home comes up, even once, I'm leaving. She said she understood. I kept my routine. Work in the mornings, gym in the evenings, fixing small things around the condo. I bought some cheap plants for the windowsill, upgraded my desk chair. Finally, life felt quiet. One afternoon, a cousin mentioned Lauren had picked up a part-time job at a daycare. Ethan grabbed extra tutoring hours at school. After a few months they found a small rental farther from the city. Cheaper, older place, but theirs. I didn't reach out. Not angry, just done. 14 months later, the condo looked better than it ever had. Fresh paint on every wall, not just the hallway this time. New locks on both doors. The squeaky floorboard near the bedroom finally fixed after years of promising myself I'd get around to it. I bought a decent couch, got rid of the lumpy one I'd been hanging onto since college. Picked up a used rug that didn't clash with the curtains for once. Even the closet office looked better. I mounted a real shelf instead of stacking everything on milk crates. The plants by the windowsill were still alive somehow. A couple even had new leaves. I watered them on schedule, gave them the good sunlight, talked to them sometimes when I was bored. Coming home felt different now. Not because the place looked nice, but because it was mine in a way it hadn't been before. I'd open the door after work, hear the deadbolt click behind me, and feel it in my shoulders. The weight of the last year just gone. No surprise visitors, no guilt trips, no phone calls telling me I was selfish. The quiet wasn't lonely. It was steady. For the first time in a long time I could actually sit on my couch with the TV off. No noise, no drama, and just breathe in my own space without wondering what fight was coming next. Peace. Not victory. Not revenge. Just boundaries that stayed where I put them.